Mysteries of the Magi, written and published by Books Reader. Introduction. They were not just storybook sages or stargazers who pursued a star to a manger. They were guardians of old wisdom. Initiates of an ancient science older than empires. The Magi, the esoteric priesthood of Persia, who mapped the stars, the elements, and the soul. They glided unseen through history, speaking secret truths to kings, interpreting dreams, and keeping knowledge reserved for the initiate. Their strength lay not in guns or crowns, but in their capacity to read the codes of the cosmos and attune themselves to the laws of the unseeable. Prophets honored them. Monarchs dreaded them, even the heavens seemed to react to their understanding. But who were they, after all? What did they understand that determined the fates of kings and the births of religions? Why did they always hover around power without being seen? And why in each tradition that speaks of light, insight, and heavenly timing do the Magi always show up? Their lessons were never intended for the many. They were shared in silence, kept in symbols and inscribed in the stars themselves. But now, in a time when ancient wisdom is coming back to those who are prepared to learn it, the door is open again. The knowledge of the Magi was never lost. It only waited for the proper ones to recall it. Lesson 1: The Rise of the Magi. Priests, stargazers, and prophets. In ancient Persia's heart a powerful and enigmatic group arose, the Magi. Reappeared as the wise, they were far greater than priests. The Magi were guardians of sacred knowledge, individuals who connect the earthly sphere with the divine. As stargazers and prophets, they occupied a distinctive role within Persian society. It's by knowing their practices that we can realize the ways in which principles used for the law of attraction have ancient origins. The Magi first emerged as a priestly class within the Median Empire and later came to be prominent within the Persian Empire. Renowned for their wisdom and great knowledge of spiritual laws, they became powerful figures in religious and royal courts alike. Like the threads that are used to weave a fine Persian carpet, their functions were intertwined and complex. They were interpreters of dreams, counselors to kings, and masters of ritual and ceremony. Their understanding of the stars rendered them master astrologers who could interpret the heavenly patterns and foretell what the future held. However, what really differentiated the Magi from others was that they believed in the power of intention and belief. For them, putting the mind on something it wanted was not just a thinking exercise, it was a ritual. They knew that the universe is a mirror that reflects thoughts and beliefs within. It is an integral concept in the law of attraction. Whatever you put your mind to, that is what you attract. The Magi began teaching that people could manifest their reality through the use of the power of intention. In ancient times, the practice of looking at the stars involved more than trying to comprehend the heavens. For the Magi, it was a way of being attuned to the cosmic plan to discover one's position in the great scheme of things. They saw the stars as a language, a communication from God that could lead human beings. By observing the stars, they were able to foretell cycles and patterns, providing insight to guide both individual and community challenge. This credo of celestial influence is very close to contemporary conceptions of employing the power of the universe in order to bring about desires. Seers in their own time, the Magi's wisdom was not confined to the heavens above. They felt that authentic prophecy resulted from a coming together with a higher source, something that enabled them to look beyond the mundane and into the arena of possibilities. Through connection with this source, they could provide counsel that was mystical yet earthy. Their prophecies were a combination of wisdom, intuition, and congruent intention, a powerful combination that resonates with our inner capacity to attract and make visible our wants. The association between the Magi practices and law of attraction principles will become clear when you reflect on how belief constructs reality. The Magi knew that maintaining a belief in absolute certainty would manifest it. They developed intellectual discipline and performed rituals that rooted their intentions within the now moment. With an intimate knowledge of intention, belief, and the unity of all things, they instructed that human beings are empowered to shape their destiny. Now, as we attempt to tap into the potential of attraction, the Magi serve as an enduring model. Their writings remind us that faith is strong, intention is everything, and the universe responds to our thoughts and emotions at all times. Looking back on their centuries-old wisdom, we discover a blueprint for following our own path to abundance, well-being, and joy. The Magi's way is one of stargazing and foresight, of comprehending the divine order and integrating it into the tapestry of our everyday lives. By their ancient arms, we find that we can also become the creators of our own world, directing our dreams towards the stars. Lesson 2. Persia's sacred flame, the eternal fire and its guardians. Deep in the heart of Persia, there existed a flame that was more than just light. It was the eternal flame, an eternal light of the divine that was constantly cared for by the Magi. This divine fire was not just a physical thing. It contained enlightenment, purity, and the very soul of spiritual wisdom. Throughout this chapter, we discuss the rich symbolism of the eternal flame and what it has to teach those who want to tap into their own inner light with the law of attract the eternal flame, just as our own passions and dreams need constant attention and care. The Magi knew this on a profound level, seeing the flame as a reflection of the burning passion of the soul and the illumination of the mind. As keepers of this flame, they devoted themselves to a career of unrelenting watchfulness, making sure it never faltered or went out. Aiming towards this fire, they discovered a potent metaphor for fostering one's inner driving passion and purpose. This commitment can be likened to holding one's vision for goals and aspirations close, keeping them alive and aglow in the eye of the mind. As our beacon is the eternal flame, it is apparent that cultivating inner fire is about focusing our intentions and burning desires. By placing our thoughts and energy on what we really want, we ignite the flame of intention, creating the conditions for manifestation. Just like the Magi protected their holy flame, we have to protect our inner fire from fear and negativity that may snuff out potential. We can use practical exercises to nourish and intensify this inner fire, drawing in positivity and making our dreams come true. One exercise is to designate time every day to sit in contemplation on individual passions. Imagine these longings as a bright flame inside of you, flickering and intensifying as you bring life and energy to them. Feel light and heat spread from the inside out, energizing and motivating you. Imagine doubts and impediments torn down into ashes, blown away as your inner flame burns brighter and brighter. To maximize this power, make an actual ritual like the Magi's nurturing of the flame. Light a candle while you reflect on your intentions, affirming your goals into being with authority and faith. Allow the candle's glow to motivate you as a physical form of your dreams and enable it to fuel your efforts towards creating the life you dream of. You should also adopt the cleansing that the eternal flame represents. Let go of any negative energy or thoughts that might cloud your intentions. This process of purification can be compared to cleaning away the soot that shadows the brilliance of your inner light. By regularly identifying and cleansing these negative aspects, we ensure a lucidity of intention that enables our inner fire to radiate freely. Its essence, the lesson of the sacred flame, invites us to tap into our passions and intentions with firm commitment. Just as the Magi gave themselves over to their divine commission, so we may live our inner fire by balance, concentration, and ever-watchful nurturing. From this position of absolute dedication, the fire in us attunes with the universal forces, linking our will to reality. As we tend this inner flame, we realize the transmutative power to call forth limitless potentialities. Lesson 3. The Way of Mitra, Esoteric Teachings of Light and Fidelity. In Persia of old, a radiant light of wisdom shone in the teachings of Mitra. He was called the god of light, truth, and fidelity, and he was the key to leading the Magi, the learned and wise priests of that time. The teachings of Mitra were not just religious beliefs but deep teachings that might shed light on the way to individual satisfaction and achievement in a manner that harmonizes with the law of attraction principles today. The spirit of Mithraic traditions is the concept of living in the light of truth and being true to oneself and others. To walk the path of was to embrace clarity and authenticity, casting aside falsehoods that cloud one's vision and hinder one's desires. In the heart of these teachings lies a powerful parallel to the modern understanding of staying aligned with one's goal. When desires are pursued with honesty and conviction, the universe begins to conspire in one's favor, aligning circumstances and opportunities to match the purity of intent. Light in Mithraic philosophy is representative of enlightenment and perception. Through illuminating our desires, we come to see what our intentions and motives are, dispelling the shadows of fear and doubt. As the Magi would gaze up at the stars for direction, so too can we look inward, seeking out that which lives within us, lighting our dreams and passion. To manifest our desires, we must first illuminate them with clarity, defining what we truly want and why, thereby sending a clear message to the universe about our aspiration. Loyalty, another pillar of Mitra's teachings, speaks to maintaining steadfast commitment to one's goals and dreams. This concept of loyalty is somewhat similar to the idea of faith in the law of attraction, where complete belief in what we want is crucial for it to materialize in the world. Any dream or vision we pledge allegiance to needs a deep-rooted belief not only in its possibility but also in our ability to bring it about. Without allegiance to our vision, we are easily distracted by challenges and doubts. Frivolization is a powerful technique to reaffirm this allegiance. By visualizing in your mind the achievement of our objectives, we reaffirm our alignment with them. Visualize the final outcome. Experience the feelings. Visualize the colors. Listen to the noises. This exercise establishes a magnetic attraction to the goal, turning what was previously an elusive dream into a certainty. By persistent visualization, we rededicate ourselves to our wishes, giving them the energy they require to develop. In the same manner, affirmations, which are positive declarations that announce our aims as already attained, keep our devotion unwavering. Constantly asserting our aims makes them firm in our conscious and subconscious mind, taking the place of doubts and unfavorable thoughts with confidence and optimism. These affirmations are the beacons of light in times of doubt, reminding us of our own potential and the strength inherent in our actions. The philosophy of Mitra also reminds us that allegiance must transcend selfish ambitions. Through honesty and consistency in our relationships and interactions, we create a culture of respect and solidarity, which in turn fuels our capacity to entice constructive outcomes. A faithful heart exudes positive energies, attracting equivalent energies within its circle. By following the way of Mitra, we understand that light and faithfulness are not abstractions but part of an essential whole that makes life filled with satisfaction and achievement. By believing in truth and dedicating ourselves to our aspirations with utmost conviction, we call upon the ageless wisdom that guided the Magi in the past to enable us to create the world that we see. As Mitra's light shines on us ever more, we become co-creators of a reality as rich and limitless as is the light. Lesson 4, Masters of the Heavens, the Magi and Ancient Astrology. Far back in the days of ancient Persia, deep in the heart of that land, the Magi were masters of the heavens, looking ever towards the sky. They held the stars as guides, reading the dance of the celestial bodies to comprehend the rhythms of life here on earth. By virtue of their deep understanding of astrology, the Magi steered the secrets of life, guiding kings and defining the fate of empires. Astrology was no mere tool. It was an interface bridging the worldly to the divine, a map that led to insight and understanding. The Magi considered the stars an echo of divine order, each constellation having tales of the gods and carrying messages from the cosmos. They recognized these heavenly bodies as not just remote spheres of light, but as great influencers of fate and fortune. Through the study of the movement and alignment of planets and stars, the Magi were able to see into the future, foretell the outcome, and provide advice. This ancient custom is true to the fundamental rules of the law of attraction, which touts a universe of energy, interconnectedness, and the potency of focus. To access the power of the universe, the Magi were taught to interpret the movements of stars like a map. They understood that some celestial phenomena had the ability to shape human affairs in profound ways. Planetary alignments, eclipses, and comet trajectories were regarded as important, signaling periods of change, development, and opportunity. The moon's cycles, for example, played an important role in intentions and desire manifestation. The new moon, darkness and rebirth, was ideal for planting the seeds of dreams and aspiration, while the full moon, illumination and strength, represented fulfillment and achievement. The secret to applying astrology in the application of the law of attraction is discernment and harmonizing with these cosmic cycles. When we see how celestial activity relates to our individual life path, we are able to access a powerful source of energy. The Magi didn't merely watch these heavenly movements. They utilized them to harness energy, to attract what they sought, and to shape the direction they wish. This ritual can be incorporated by anyone willing to see beyond the surface and enjoy the cosmic dance. Imagine setting an intention during the new moon, experiencing the building excitement as the moon waxes, and then realizing the accomplishment under its bright silver light. This synchronization with cosmic cycles is both a practical and symbolic act of alignment with the universe. To put this concept into use and reach, begin by tracking phases of the moon or observing certain planetary alignment. Look at your own experience and notice patterns. You may find that certain times of the year give rise to certain feelings or situations. By connecting those observations to the star cycles, you put yourself in a step toward manifesting what you want. The practice is more than just observation. It's about raising awareness and harmony with the larger universe. As you walk this path, you are a co-creator in collaboration with the universe to manifest your gifts. This enigmatic dance between the heavens and our terrestrial existence remains fascinating and inspiring, providing an eternal system for understanding ourselves and the world around us. Essentially, to align with this ancient knowledge is to open the door to a more intimate relationship with the unfolding story of life. Lesson 5, Introduction to Mystery, the Tests of a Genuine Magus. To be a magus was not for the faint-hearted. It was a path filled with challenges and tests designed to determine the resolve, acumen, and dedication of those who pursued the secrets of the Magi. The initiation rites were kept under wraps, a mysterious process whereby one becomes transformed from the common seeker to the enlightened sage able to harness the deepest powers of the universe. As with the law of attraction, whereby one must have an unwavering faith in oneself and one's dreams, so too did the Magi have a deep allegiance to the way they had embarked upon. To see the real meaning behind of these trials, one has to realize that tests are not hindrances but chances for development. Every test that the novice mages encountered was created to shed ego and uncertainty, exposing the inner strength hidden within. The trials focused on the development of patience, persistence, and mastery over one's mind and spirit. In embracing these demanding experiences, the initiates learned that overcoming adversity was not just about enduring hardship but about awakening a deeper power within themselves. This initiation into mystery serves as a powerful metaphor for our own journeys in life. Each of us encounters challenges that test our resolve and commitment to our goals. These trials are not just roadblocks but invitations to evolve, to elevate our consciousness and deepen our understanding of who we are and what we wish to attract into our lives. In the context of the law of attraction, these moments of struggle can be transformed. By perceiving challenges as steps along the way to success, we open ourselves up to manifesting our dreams with more accuracy and intention. The Magi remind us that having the courage and an open heart to embrace such trials is how we unlock our highest potential. When we encounter adversity, it is essential to have faith in ourselves and the process of development. The energy of positive thinking, unshakable faith, and unyielding attention are the key resources in turning adversity into opportunity. With every obstacle we bridge, we build experience that empowers us, refining our capacity to bring in the life we desire. For any of us who tread this journey, functional advice lies in the simple exercise of converting challenges into gifts. When faced with difficulties, ask yourself what lessons can be learned and how they may serve your greater purpose. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude for these experiences, recognizing them as integral parts of your journey toward your dreams. Engage in self-reflection, meditation, and visualization to fortify your resolve and align your thoughts with your highest intention. Incorporating these principles into your daily life can be transformative. In so doing, you reflect the ancient Magi initiation patterns, embracing tests as not adversity but as divine agents of transformation. This shifts the energy that challenges hold from resistance and fear to love and acceptance, allowing you to harness the creative power of the universe. The Magi's trials remind us of the potential that lies within every one of us. With diligence and determination, we are capable of tapping into the energy of the law of attraction and bring our most intimate desires to life, turning stumbling blocks into stepping stones on our way. As the Magi once broke forth from their rites of initiation as great vessels of ancient wisdom, so can we break forth from our own turmoil wiser and more in tune with the world we want to create. By adopting the principles of the Magi, we understand that initiation into mystery is not a matter of shunning difficulty but transcending it, having in mind the realization that in every challenge there is the potential for our greatest victory. As we further travel, let us keep in mind that the challenges we endure are not obstacles, but divine rights that lead us to move fully into our power and manifest the boundless potential within. Lesson 6: Sacred Geometry and the Architecture of the Divine. In the ancient time of the Magi, where wisdom became intertwined with the secrets of the universe, sacred geometry was highly significant. These complex forms and patterns were more than lines and curves. They were mirrors of the divine blueprints that supported all existence. The Magi knew that through the observation and alignment with these heavenly templates, they could open the secrets of manifestation, bringing the world into concordance with their will. Sacred geometry, born from the oldest of philosophies, speaks of an invisible order. The Magi, in seeking wisdom, saw that all things in the world adhere to these patterns, from the galaxy spirals to flower symmetry. Through their teachings, they imparted how knowing these patterns would lead to means of accessing higher awareness. By connecting to this underlying order, individuals could get their intentions aligned with the larger forces involved and increase their ability to bring desires into being. Think of the simple circle, one that symbolizes unity, infinity, and completeness. To the Magi, the circle symbolized the cycle of life, a testament to the eternal and the infinite. It serves as a reminder of the perpetuation of life and the limitless potential found in every instant. When we envision our dreams inside a circle, we place them symbolically in the domain of boundless possibilities. It implies that whatever we imagine, however large or small, belongs and can be had within the infinite parameters of the universe. Next is the Holy Triangle, so commonly viewed as a sign of balance and harmony. The 3 points of the triangle symbolize the trilogy of body, mind, and spirit, or perhaps the interconnectedness of past, present, and future. For the Magi, the triangle was an affirming symbol, a symbol of how disparate elements of life are united to achieve stability and equilibrium, reminding us to bring into one whole every aspect of our lives, our activity, our thoughts, and our desires. By drawing on this form, we become powerful magnets, attractors to the results we desire. Sacred geometry does not end with single shapes. It is more about the intricate beauty when these are integrated together, creating forms such as the flower of life that contains the key to creation itself. This pattern of overlapping circles represents how all aspects of existence are interconnected. The Magi, in their wisdom, interpreted it as a map of consciousness and creation. When we meditate on such patterns, we tune into the universe's creative forces, recognizing our connection to everything around us, thus strengthening our ability to manifest through our unity with the cosmos. Using these geometric forms as visualization tools can greatly enhance our intentions. Visualize your desires in a triangle that is energized by its balanced energy, or see your goals taking shape within the infinite possibilities of a circle. These exercises not only help us understand our intentions but also place them energetically within the architecture of the universe in such a way that our manifestations harmonize with cosmic design. It is about embracing sacred geometry in the law of attraction practice, as recognizing that our actions, thoughts, and wants are all a part of a larger universal pattern. This is why the Magi held such respect for these shapes as doorways to increased intuition and perception. By contemplating and imagining sacred geometric shapes, we get to know how to resonate at frequencies harmonized to our aspirations, thereby attracting them to us with precision and beauty. The research on these divine forms reminds us that we are co-creators in a universe engineered with precision and harmony. By accepting the wisdom of sacred geometry, we become more creative, attuned to the subtle energies that define our world. Attuned to these energies, we don't only draw into our lives our most profound desires but also travel further towards the knowledge that the Magi valued, coming into contact with the light lost that once touched Persia's holy way. Lesson 7: The Magi and Zoroaster Prophecy, Purity, and Power. The ancient kingdom of Persia was not only a realm of lands and wealth, but a land of rich spiritual stories and powerful teachings. Amidst its radiant past, the relationship between the Magi and the prophet Zoroaster is a mainstay. Zoroaster, also called Zarathustra in the ancient language, was a light of spiritual awakening that introduced messages that would echo across the ages. The Magi were not only keepers of his doctrine but were themselves active agents in interpreting and disseminating his message. They created a rich tapestry of prophecy, purity, and power together. Zoroaster's doctrine introduced ideas whose axis turned on the duality of good and evil, truth and falsehood. He taught that humans are obligated to follow the path of Asha, the path of righteousness and truth instead of the false perversion of Ingramenu, the demon of destruction and turmoil. Magi took on this philosophy with zeal, utilizing it as spiritual inspiration and as a guide to right behavior in life. This conformity to the supreme virtue is significant in realizing the intricacies of deriving inner strength. When individuals make a commitment of purity in action and thought, a ripple effect begins within the cosmos, drawing similar energies. The Magi used to think that prophecy was more a matter of interpreting signs and symbols of the divine rather than foretelling specific events, bringing humans into convergence with their divine purpose. The Magi considered Zoroaster to be the precursor to wisdom, whose prophecies regarding the victory of light over darkness could be contemplated across the universe. His words were intended as instruments to the Magi that would assist communities in understanding that thinking and doing have the capability to alter reality. By understanding how constantly cleansing one's intentions would bring about more lucid and powerful manifestations, individuals are able to gain control of the direction of their lives. In the law of attraction world, purity is a strong force. Just as the Magi went about observing rituals for physical cleanliness through sacred waters and fires, so too did they seek internal cleansing. Negativity, such as trash that taints clean waters, can clog one's path to a life of fulfillment. The Magi advocated that one should keep his mind and spirit clean in order to attract a life that is full of joy and abundance. The simplicity of Zoroaster's teachings resonates with the need for clear minds to draw positive results. The strength Zoroaster taught wasn't about authority over others but mastery over self. Such power was rooted in knowing cosmic principles and living in sync within their order. The Magi thus practiced extensively in meditation and introspection, upholding tenets of enlightenment that endured beyond their era. These practices brought transformative constancy with constellations and earthly rhythms, honing their skills to summon and channel energies towards intended purposes. Today, one can connect with this historical tradition by orienting oneself on cleansing practices that assist in harmonizing the mind, body, and spirit in the direction of good and unencumbered intentions. Semi-engraving time for meditation, not allowing oneself to get stuck in negativity, and practicing daily gratitude are all exercises that capture this process of cleansing. As individuals open themselves up to these practices, they make room for new possibility to germinate. Through acts of purification, both physical and inner mental processes, the Magi were able to tap into a concentrated power that bonded them inextricably with the universe. This chapter encourages readers to adopt purity in ethical and esoteric terms, taking from Zoroaster's and the Magi's lasting legacy that true power resides not in clinging to what we want most dearly, but in releasing all that is not for the highest good of the soul. Through doing so, our intentions ring out distinctively to universal energies, attracting to ourselves that which truly belongs to us. Lesson 8: The Gifts of the Magi, Gold, Frankincense, and a Hidden Message. In the dim glow of an ancient temple, the Magi carefully laid their gifts at the feet of greatness: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. These were not mere treasures of the earth, but sacred symbols wrapped in mysticism, each carrying a hidden message understood deeply by those who knew the language of the stars and the spirit. For the Magi, these gifts were more than precious goods. They were offerings of intelligence that, when released, contained the secrets to comprehension of attraction in the immense field of life. Gold, the first and most dramatic of their offerings, shone with the possibility of richness and prosperity. It was not only wealth in the physical sense but divine light that symbolized inner richness and potential for growth within every human being. In order to tap this light, one had to have the mindset of abundance, trusting that the universe is always replenishing itself. The Magi knew that by cultivating a spirit of thanks and giving, the channel of plenty would flow back to them automatically, expanding far beyond material wealth. Frankincense, the second offering, rose in wispy clouds of smoke that curved heavenward, bearing prayers and intentions on the breeze. This holy resin was sacred because of its spiritual meaning, representing a profound connection with the divine. It was a reminder that attraction and manifestation lie in tuning into one's inner essence and aligning it with the larger cosmos. Through the practice of meditation and contemplation, such as breathing in the soothing aroma of frankincense, incense, the Magi understood the potential of grounding oneself to receive higher frequencies. In doing this, they opened a spiritual door to gain wisdom and wisdom from the otherworldly dimensions, enabling desires to become real more clearly and with more intent. The last gift, myrrh, had a somewhat bitter scent, but was believed to have deeper healing properties. The Magi selected myrrh not only as an ancient balm but as a symbol of strength and transformation. It represented the skill of turning adversity into opportunity, just as raw myrrh could be distilled into a medicinal ointment. By accepting change and gaining from painful lessons, the Magi envisioned the possibility of becoming stronger and smarter. This concept is similar to the law of attraction, in which the trials and tribulations of life are considered doorways to growth, further crystallizing one's intent and goals. Yet, the gifts of the Magi were enveloped in another layer, a cryptic message hidden beneath the surface. As keepers of wisdom and prophecy, their choice of treasures reflected a deeper cosmology, pointing to the triadic balance of body, soul, and spirit. Gold nourished the physical needs and wants of the body, frankincense raised the spiritual search for illumination, and myrrh cared for the soul's timeless trek through death, rebirth, and the cycles of life. The Magi understood that by aligning these elements, humans could develop a balanced life, one in which the draw of their wishes was natural and effortless. The interaction between these gifts also suggests a greater story, a strand that connects humanity to the divine origin. The Magi taught that treasures are to be valued, yet it is in comprehending the meaning behind these gifts that we reach our highest potential. Thus, embracing these teachings, one comes to be a magnet for life's abundance by understanding the symbolism gold, frankincense, and myrrh represent abundance. As we venture into this chapter, we begin to shed the layers of interpretation surrounding the Magi's gifts, uncovering truths that resonate far beyond a time and place in history. These symbols of old carry timeless lessons and continue to guide us along our path as we strive to bring our dreams into being. Celebrate the essence of the Magi who, by wisdom, infuse life into the principles of the law of attraction, leading us to value not the physical alone, but appreciate the process of discovery and awareness in our own lives. Lesson 9, Persian Alchemy, Soul Transmutation Through Fire. The ancient Persian Magi kept secrets well placed within the changing power of alchemy. They realized that alchemy was more of turning the soul and not metals into gold. The Magi viewed the human life as a strong process of transformation and development, with fire at the center of this transformation. This was not different from the concepts in the law of attraction, in which individual change is central to bringing about desired results. Both literal and symbolic fire was sacred in the eyes of the Magi. It was thought to have the ability to uplift the soul. By fueling individual change, individuals could turn base impulses into a higher spiritual plane, being more attuned to the universe and its plentiful energy. This was similar to cleansing the self, incinerating negative forces, and developing an atmosphere of being more open and capable of absorbing the positive. One of the core principles of Persian alchemy was inner alchemy, a refinement of thought, feeling, and action. In treating the mind as seeds and emotion as fuel, the Magi learned the immense power that had been contained in inner talk concerning the external. By cultivating positive thoughts and feelings earnestly, they were able to start a cycle of change which resonated in the world outside. This practice takes self-awareness and a willingness to change. It's a deliberate decision to become attuned to the energies within and to direct them with conscious intent. This is the same as the practices advocated in the law of attraction, where self-development is not a destination but a lifelong process. Through dedicating themselves to personal growth and change, individuals unleash their capacity to manifest positive change in their lives. The Magi were aware of the role played by rituals and symbolism in facilitating this alchemical change. Fire rituals, including the lighting of a candle or the keeping of a small spiritual flame, were meant to concentrate the practitioner's will and represent the cleansing effect of fire. These actions were potent reminders of a commitment to self-improvement and pursuit of higher goals. To engage in this process of transformation, imagine the flame as a light within. Picture it taking in doubts, fears, and negativity, leaving behind a center of pure intention and purpose that spreads outward. Sense the warmth and light of the inner fire circulating in every aspect of your being, kindling passion and confidence. During times of uncertainty or adversity, this visualization helps remind you of your capacity to take challenges and turn them into opportunities for growth and advancement. By embracing the lessons from the Magi, we align with the underlying essence of the law of attraction. By not only seeking external changes but also understanding and nurturing our inner worlds, we reflect the universe's vast potential. The journey of Persian alchemy invites us to engage with our inner flame, fostering a vibrant positive energy that draws similar energies into our lives just as the Magi intended to with their ancient forgotten light. Lesson 10: The Hidden Library of the Magi, Lost Scrolls and Forbidden Lore. In the ancient lands of Persia, where wisdom flowed as freely as the mighty rivers, there existed a library, a sanctuary of knowledge known only to a privileged few, the hidden library, a sanctuary of knowledge known only to a privileged few, the hidden library of the Magi. This haven, hidden from the gaze of the uninitiated, was a storehouse of scrolls and writings that told the secrets of the universe, nature's secrets, and the occult laws that dictated the fate of those who venture to find them. The secret library and the watchful wise were havens where words, woven, spells, and symbols created gateways to wisdom. The scrolls contained within this hallowed space were treasures of ancient thought guarded with the utmost diligence. Each scroll held the essence of the teachings of the Magi crafted meticulously over generations. It is said that these texts contain the very fabric of the cosmos within their woven scripts. These were not just books, but blueprints of spiritual awareness designed to lead the heart and mind toward wholeness of existence. Among the scrolls were those that spoke in hushed tones of the stars and their impact on the rising and falling of human destiny. These scrolls talked of a day when the Magi looked heavenward, reading the star language and applying its rhythms to their own lives in harmony with the world above. The stars were not simple distant lights. They were signposts guiding on the road for those who would travel with faces lifted hopefully skyward. The Magi understood that to attract what one desires, one must first understand the timing and influence of these astral bodies. Other scrolls delved into the complexities of nature's tapestry, describing the cycles of growth and decay, balance and imbalance. In their pages lay the understanding that the universe is an intricate dance of energy and intention. The Magi utilized this knowledge, employing it to attune themselves with the natural order and thereby direct their willpower to create their heart's desire. By becoming educated in the cycles of the world about them, they were able to plant seeds of intent and cultivate them to completion with the same care a gardener would bestow upon the first bloom of spring. There were other texts more esoteric, said to include forbidden knowledge that brushed on the mysteries deemed too powerful for the world outside the library's stone walls. These were the scrolls that communicated in riddles and dreams, that spoke in whispers truths too deep to be formulated in full daylight. They instructed the Magi to see behind the veil of the world, to search out the realms in between where secret truths waited to be uncovered by those with the courage to find them. These secrets could change the soul, awaken a fire within that blazed with the intensity of 1,000 summits. But there was something else that these forbidden teachings encompassed beyond spiritual awe. They exposed the energy paths and manifestation, instructing the Magi about how the seen and unseen were interrelated. The ancient ones referred to such knowledge as the art of transformation, existence itself. Those who became adept in such teachings learned to tread the narrow roads between worlds where dreams and reality blended and where intention could forge destiny. Though most of these teachings were discreetly kept hidden lest they be misused, whispers of their truth have filtered down the ages and into the hearts and minds of those who listen. Today, the essence of the secret library continues, calling each one of us to explore the greater mysteries of life, calling us to search out knowledge and understanding beyond the mundane. The Magi's library teaches us that knowledge itself has the power to use in bringing the world we desire into being. Learning to read the signs, to listen to the language of nature and of spirit, we are led to draw to us what our hearts are truly desiring. The secret wisdom of the Magi is still within grasp, waiting to be found by those who have the courage to search it out, to learn, and to infuse their contemporary life with the lost light of wisdom ancient. Lesson 11: Fall of the Order, How the Wisdom Was Scattered in Silence. The tale of the Magi is one of ancient wisdom, abiding knowledge, and spiritual insights into the cosmos. But like many great stories, it also features a chapter of decline. The fall of the Magi is a tale of how their wisdom, once treasured, was scattered and nearly lost to the sands of time. Understanding this chapter in their history helps us realize the fragility of knowledge and the importance of preserving wisdom. The Magi as guardians of mystical mysteries and heavenly truth originally held a position of significant power in the ancient world of Persia. Their knowledge of all things from astrology to alchemy made them indispensable. But history, as the currents of a great river, is constantly in flux and not always benevolent. With empires rose and fell their serving masters' luck, political changes affected the Magi tremendously. At some points in time, the Magi were persecuted. New dynasties and religious groups occasionally saw their information as heretical or nefarious. With new religions attempting to gain hold in a world, the wisdom of the old was considered hazardous, only comprehensible by a select few and occasionally misconstrued. The teachings of the Magi, shrouded in mystery and the occult, were a target for suppression by those who wanted to eliminate anything that was not part of the New World Order. This dispersal of knowledge was not solely due to outside pressure, but internal conflict played its part also. As the Magi themselves grew fewer, so too did the protection of their most revered sacred secrets. Where once there was unity and a shared mission to preserve the ancient ways, division and disagreement began to creep in. Trust eroded and their powerful collective voice was silenced by internal discord. Despite these challenges, the light of the Magi did not extinguish entirely. Many fragments of their teachings survive, hidden away in secret locations or passed down through covert oral traditions. In remote areas, true believers carried on in their old ways, preserving the Magi's heritage from being completely lost. The dispersal of their knowledge and the efforts to mute their voices serve as a poignant reminder. The wisdom they possessed, that had lighted up the globe, was at the mercy of the winds of history. However, this same vulnerability also speaks to the power in wisdom itself. No matter how brutally it was stifled, it managed to survive, resonating through the ages and waiting for new seekers to rediscover it. Contemplation of this time in the history of the Magi encourages us to ponder our place in preserving the knowledge and wisdom we stand on the shoulders of giants, heirs to a legacy that goes back to the beginning of human awareness. To allow it to pass, to disregard the lessons provided by history, is to risk losing important pieces of our shared soul and potential to draw in abundance. Even while we learn from this book of decline, there is hope. The Magi remind us of rebirth and renewal, demonstrating that knowledge, like the eternal flame they had been charged to maintain, may be relit. We may turn to their tale as both warning and inspiration, a summons to reverence, defend, and build upon the wisdom that has preceded us. So in the reverberations of the Magi's failure, we discover our own chances for rising again. It reminds us that ultimately, wisdom is not something to keep to oneself but a heritage we leave behind by incorporating it into our way. Lesson 12, The Return of the Magi, Awakening the Ancient Path in a New World. Amidst the turbulent tides of contemporary life, a reawakening of interest in ancient knowledge calls, prompting many to turn to the path of the Magi. This new interest in the Magi is not simply an aspiration to connect with lost history, but a desire for the deep understanding that such an ancestry can offer. As we explore the relevance of the Magi in today's context, we are drawn to how their teachings can guide us in our ways now, particularly when combined with the idea of the law of attraction. The Magi with their own rich heritage of astrology, mythology, and mystical practice are mentors to those seeking a deeper awareness of their position in the universe. They instruct us to see the hidden strands of connection that bind our lives to the universe, strands that, when drawn in the right manner, show us the fabric of desire and intention. By waking up to the teachings of the Magi, we come to understand that the powers they had access to are not a thing of the past but living forces that can be accessed even today. As we make attempts at reviving this ancient way, we begin by adopting the principle of intentionality. The Magi were deeply convinced that concentrated intention, aided by ritual and attunement to cosmic rhythms, had the power to mold reality. This resonates with the contemporary idea in the law of attraction that what we repetitively concentrate on and have faith in starts becoming manifest in physical form. With concise intentions, we call upon the ancient tradition of the Magi, charting the direction of our path with the acuity of an experienced astrologer mapping the stars. The second critical element in reviving the Magi in us is the acknowledgement of the strength of symbols and rituals. When the world is so frequently divested of symbolism, the return of symbolic action can fill our daily lives with deep significance. Whether the ceremony of your own making or taking something from the sacred rituals of the Magi, such as the lighting of a candle to symbolize the eternal flame. These actions bring our interior world more deeply into relation with outer reality. These symbols act as anchors grounding our desires in the material world while letting the divine guide us. A part of this process is also discovering the role of community similar to the tribal and communal life of the Magi. They work best in shared knowledge and communal spiritual practice. In the same way, as contemporary seekers, we are challenged to locate and develop communities of like-minded people through shared experience, mutual support of dreams, and the proliferation of our combined energies. We can recreate the supportive networks that are necessary for our personal and spiritual development. Embodying the Magi's lessons in contemporary terms also entails respecting and honoring diversity and avenues to enlightenment. The Magi were themselves drawn from multiple cultures and spiritual traditions and adapted them into a unified practice. In modern times, this echoes the theme of seeking truth between disciplines and cultures. Being receptive to a multitude of sources, whether in meditation, art, or science, enriches us and expands the boundaries of possibilities. In addition, one should not discount the enduring merit of seeking learning and developing wisdom, characteristics of the Magi's heritage. In a fast-evolving world, knowing, being able to adapt, and ongoing learning become indispensable. The Magi show us that wisdom is not fixed but develops through inquiry, seeking deeper truths, and incorporating new understanding into our being. The path to the awakening of the Magi's way also entails embracing love and compassion, pillars of compassion, potent forces of change, in personal transformations and in the grand tapestry of humanity. As we walk this path, weaving together timeless wisdom and contemporary realities becomes an art. The path is a deeply personal yet communally understandable one, leading us to the understanding that we are ourselves magicians of our very lives. With each decision and conscious action, we summon the hidden potential within, using it to realize our highest aspirations and create the life we see. Therefore, revivifying the way of the Magi in the contemporary age is not merely going back in time but a lively renaissance of living wisdom. It encourages us to dip into the depths of our possibilities, challenging us to dream like the stargazers of old and nudging us to foretell by fashioning our futures with intent and with love. The path of the Magi is not dead, but in each of us burns the spark which can be fanned into a blazing fire. Last lesson, the Magi. And now, as the last veil is removed, the wisdom of the Magi speaks again, not from dusty temples or lost scrolls, but from the gentle knowing that awakens in you. The Magi were never merely men of legend. They were heralds of a truth too great for religion, too specific for chance, and too holy for time to destroy. Their understanding formed empires not with coercion, but with foresight. They understood what the world still struggles to grasp, that the stars speak, its spirit leads, and that true power belongs to those who are aligned, not just informed. The legacy of the Magi is not about memorizing facts or following dogma. It is about reading the signs within and without and living in harmony with the deeper order of the universe. To follow the path of the Magi is to follow with purpose, discipline, and holy accountability. You are not here by chance. You belong to the family that listens to what others overlook and observes what others reject. The same light that led them in deserts now ignites inside your awareness. The same codes they held in hiding are now stirring in clear view. You are not a seeker anymore. You are a vessel, and through you, the wisdom goes on. The stars have not ceased talking. They've just been waiting for you to hear. Bring this old fire with humility, with simplicity, and with courage. The world needs the Magi once more, and this time, they bear your